Hello, mindful friends. Today we're continuing our conversation on how to support mindfully communicating through difference. And this is along the lines of my upcoming class that starts October 22nd on mindfully communicating through difference. So if you want to dive deeper into these topics, please join us then. So today we're talking about how humility can support these conversations. And we've all heard, in religions, in kind of school, in self-reflection, how humility supports us in being a well-functioning, contributing, peaceful person. And the reason this is that humility reminds us, one, that we are not the ones in control of all of life, of everybody, of all things going on. And two, that we are not the ones who are omnipotent and all-knowing. We don't have all of the answers. As much as we feel like we do sometimes, or we feel like our faith system or our worldview system is the most intelligent and the right one, humility reminds us that we aren't, in fact. We don't. And even within those faith systems, it's so naive of us to think that we have unlocked the full truth within them. We understand all the ancient texts, all the mindsets of all those historical people or whoever created these worldviews, and we have the ability to understand every piece of that, where they were coming from, their intentions, and how they would interpret it today, how it would apply today. I mean, when you think of that, it's obviously absurd to think that we know that, right? That we, this little tiny human, this one little speck in all the history of the world and living beings and life in general, that we would have any ability to hold all of that knowledge ourselves. So when we develop humility, we're looking at those truths. We are not omnipotent. We can't do all things. We can't control all things and all people. We don't have all the knowledge to do so. We don't understand all of life. And there might be some circumstances in certain contexts where we could say our knowledge base, our skill base could apply most efficiently and effectively to this situation. But when it comes to the all overview of the world, our big whys, our big worldviews, our big beliefs and faiths, we gotta humble ourselves and say we just don't know. And it's not up to us to know. We don't have to know. And we don't have to be the ones in control of everybody else and making sure that they are in line with what is right. We don't know enough to really understand in the whole global spectrum, universal spectrum, what is truly right. Humility also shows us, opens our eyes to the fact that difference of opinion exists everywhere, right? So absurd to think there's only one truth. Every culture, every group of people, every community, even every family unit, and then down to every individual within a family unit, holds a different worldview, sees things uniquely based on their experiences in life, their past traumas, their deepest values, the information that they are seeking out and absorbing. And this uniqueness between all of us is a strength. It helps us to develop a more well-rounded, open-minded view of the whole world. We want difference of opinion. We want it. It helps us. Not only does it help us gain a well-rounded view of the outside world, it also helps us to continue developing ourselves. It's very important to keep questioning our own beliefs, to keep asking questions, to look at things from a different perspective. It deepens our own understanding of self. And it kind of develops a new definition or a new way of looking at our beliefs and faith. It can really, sometimes it strengthens the ones that we have. It might affirm them and make us feel stronger in them. And sometimes it might lead to a little adaptation of them. But this is important, this kind of flow in life, the ability to adapt and evolve. That, right? We look through history and that's what keeps us all alive. It keeps every species alive, is the ability to adapt and evolve. So if we are so stuck in being right, so stuck in just our worldview and that we have the answers, you're literally sucking the life out of yourself and others around you, because you are prohibiting your ability to continue to learn, adapt, and evolve. And that is the source of healthy life. So humility helps us with this. It says, don't hold those rigid boundaries of your views and your beliefs. Humble yourself to saying, maybe I don't know. And you know what? Maybe even in my faith group or my worldview group, maybe they don't know. And in fact, maybe I don't have the ability to interpret this information entirely correctly. I don't have the scope to really be able to understand what these people back then were thinking, and I don't have the ability to understand how this might evolve and change into a healthy system in the future. And this humility also, it doesn't say don't have your opinions, right? Because I think it is important for us to continue contributing in the ways that feel best for us, in the ways that feel aligned for us. But there's humility in that too, of recognizing there will be people that this way of approaching things resonates with, and good, I can serve people in that way. I can help them in that way without forcing them to become too rigid in it. But even in that, I recognize that not everybody has to think this way, that this isn't right for everybody. And so I do my work. I think about this in mindfulness all the time, right? Well, how can I say this if here I am teaching mindfulness as this, like, you know, here are the ways to be mindful, here's how to bring it into your life. That's a worldview, that's a perspective that I have. But in that, I recognize that this is my little place, you know, and I'm doing the best that I can in the way that I can while staying open. And I also recognize that, you know what, this might not be what works for everybody, and it might not be their approach. And it does not mean that they are wrong and I am right. It does not mean that everybody needs to be mindful. It means that this is my work here. This is where I thrive and what I'm passionate about and what I can contribute to the world. It doesn't mean it's the only way that the world needs to see things. So I do the work that I can while remaining open and not too rigid. And that is humility. Continue contributing in the ways that feel good to you, that feel aligned with your heart, but remain open to saying, this might not be what's best for everybody. Humble yourself. You are not the all-knowing, the omnipotent, the controller of all. None of us are. We need each other, and we need the difference of opinion to make a well-rounded, healthy, ever-evolving population and world. I invite you this week to look at those things where maybe we need to bring in a little more humility. The ones where we think I'm absolutely right on this and the world would be better if everybody thinks like me. Watch those for yourself. Maybe journal on it, contemplate it on a little bit, and say, what would it do for me to be a little more open here and a little bit softer on those edges? Again, if you'd like to join us for group classes or individual coaching, you can find us at newleafmindfulness.com. If you want to dive deeper into these mindful conversations, please consider taking my class, Mindfully Communicating Through Difference, beginning October 22nd. Would love to see you there. My new book is out, Healing Mindfully, Finding Peace Through Pain, Illness, and Aging. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from it. You can buy that at my studio or anywhere you buy your print or audio content. And I hope to see you all very soon.